Right. So we have two movies to talk about. The first being, well, actually, I should say they're both sequels. So the first being Don't Breathe 2, and the second one being Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms.
Right, right, right.
So you didn't see Don't Breathe 2, so I will
No,
just do a
I did
review of that,
not.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, of course, a sequel to the 2016 film Don't Breathe. This was directed by Fede Alvarez, who actually directed the Evil Dead remake, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It's one
Right.
of the best remakes, best horror remakes I've seen in a while. And what I really dug about that Evil Dead movie was how visceral it was, though. It was unapologetically dark and bloody and brutal, and it was just like as perfect a tribute to the Sam Raimi film of the same name as possible, right? So yeah. But yeah, he followed that up with Dude Breed, which was less visceral, less supernatural, but still gripping and still like well, dark and tense filled as well, right? Um, I actually saw it on the day it came out. I remember seeing it, and then I watched Kubo the Two Strings, and I loved Kubo, right? But yeah, Don't Breed stood out to me. Not as much as all that though. But it has its audience, especially for people who just like these economical, horror films with like I should say
Yeah,
thriller, right? With
yeah.
these basic premises, but it's just a matter of how you
Yeah, no,
play it out, right?
yeah, the premise of the first film I thought was great. Like I love the
Yeah,
premise of the first film. But except until it reached a certain point and it's like, all right, well, I kind of messed it up. But I really dug the premise of the first film. I was like, oh,
yeah,
it's basically Stick from Daredevil,
yeah.
but a
As like,
Afghan, but a vet and totally PTSD. It's PTSD Stick, right? Well, as
yes.
more PTSD Stick, right? And you are trapped. Like these three are trapped, and they're in the wrong because they invade his
Yeah,
house. So
yeah,
it's castle doctrine, in your skin, right? So I was really enjoying that central premise until they did this plot reveal. I was like, really? They needed to do that, Judd? Like they could have made this a lot more clever. And I was really disappointed in that. Um,
yeah. And is that twist, right? It's the twist, right? Where we just see how much of a scumbag, this character is, right? This
yeah,
character,
exactly.
of course, is played by Stephen Lang.
Yeah, love it.
He plays not well Norman. That's his name in the movie, but they call him the blind man. So when it comes to horror, yeah, when it comes to villains, 'cause, yeah, he's a villain. You have to have that name, right? So he is
Yeah,
the blind man. You can't call him Norman. Ooh, well, because you already have Norman Bates, right? Duh, right? But yeah, I mean, the premise was simple, but it was just so effective. The way how they used the camera in terms of like just how this the claustrophobic feel of things, right? But
yeah,
yeah, that twist came and it was just like, wow, this guy is like just despicable, like jeez,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Which I really
Um,
hated it, but it's fine. Go ahead.
yeah, and it's one of those honestly, the show itself was already good for schlocky grindhouse, like
Right.
schlocky grindhouse vibe, boy. But that one made it even more schlocky in my
Yeah,
opinion, boy.
in my personal opinion, I felt it just, a lot of shows do this, and I really hate it where they need to make the person extra evil. Like he already the antagonist, but like they need to make him evil, and like clearly, justify where you need to root for this character or the other. And I that really annoys me in this in particular. A lot of other shows do it, and most to me, probably most infamous is Star Trek, Star Trek 10, right? But that I was really underwhelmed with that in that first one. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So now we have Don't Breathe 2, right? And what it's about is that we are reintroduced to Norman 8 years after the first film, right? So he is living in another house in Detroit, right? And he's not alone this time. He actually has a daughter, or yeah, right. He has a daughter named Phoenix, right? Um, Played by a first timer called Madeline Grace, right?
Okay.
And but of course, the back of your mind, we're like, okay, how exactly you have a daughter? And the show answers it. It answers it actually, right? But yeah. So they're there though, and of course, as you see the trailer, he kind of trains her on how to, defend himself and whatnot, right? Even though she's like, I think it's like eight, not eight. I think she's like about like 10 or 11 or thereabout, right? If I got the age wrong, I mean, I'm sorry, right? But yeah, what I mean. Even though he's blind, he's pretty much training her how to survive, right? What happens now is that through some circumstances, she runs afoul of these goons, right? And you learn later on what they're about. And yeah, they end up like basically following her to their house, right? So
Right.
one night, they break in, actually with the intent of kidnapping her, right? Because
Right.
they have they have a reason for doing so, right? And it's not what you think, right? So yeah, what I mean, yeah, and at first, things played out the way how they'd expect it to, right? Of course, Phoenix knows what to do. She knows where to hide all that stuff. The guys are just there, basically just moving across the house, just looking for him. Sorry, looking for her, and the blind man himself, and of course the blind man doing his thing. But then, slight spoiler, she gets kidnapped now, and she's carried across to where the main goons are, right? And then you understand really what's going on. And yeah, I mean, through some convenience, the blind man actually kind of finds where they are and just goes ape shit on them, right? And I'll stop right there. So you see the same issue that you were talking about, where they like the twist with how how we turn what could have been an anti-hero in the first film into like the scumbag, right?
Right.
They don't really justify it at all here in this one. What I mean is, now in this film, he is an anti-hero again.
Right. So they kind of
But
just forget.
because of that big twist in the first film now, is like, how though? Because yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I mean. You will like like even all right. So for those who haven't seen it though, they're gonna see what really happens though. But when you see it's like God, like I don't like you're supposed to like how you expect me to like root for this guy there? And then well, this show here, the sequel, really goes out your way to make you root for this guy. Like by yeah, primarily just making him the protagonist first of all,
Right.
making him have a daughter now, and now him going out of his way, literally, like going through hell, literally, just to save this girl, right? But still, the thought of what he did in the last film, the reveal in the last
Yeah.
film,
That's a problem.
is
Yeah.
still there, Dread. Like I'm sorry, like no
Yeah.
matter what you do, it's still there. You know what I mean? And the way how he moves, and I understand the nature of the show itself, right? This is going for grimy, dirty. It's gritty grindhouse stuff. So yeah, when characters get killed, they get killed in like this gruesome manner, right? In a manner, in a gruesome fashion, right? So it's going for that rolling thunder, death wish kind of vibe, right? That's what it's
Right.
going for, right? But again, it's what this guy, who this guy is, and what he did. You know what I mean? It just kind of makes it kind of hard for you to really root for him. There's even a moment where literally he's bludgeoning a guy to death, and Phoenix is seeing this and like yelling at the blind man, like, no, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, right? And yes, though he kind of resists after the fact, yeah, he still was bashing a person's head, in
Yeah.
front
Yeah.
of this girl. Like that's how it is. And oh well, don't tell me, oh well, because he blind. Blah. No, he knew where she was, right? Because he's that guy. Like, come on,
Well,
right?
it's
You know what I
again,
mean? So it just makes it rather
is he
problematic,
the
sir. When you
yeah, is he
yeah.
daredevil? Is he daredevil stick thing, right? Like he aware, but he's still blind, but they're trying to like square it. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. No, from a fundamentally grindhouse level, you can kind of shut your brain off and just enjoy it for what it is, but the home invasion kind of revenge thing. But here's another problem that I have with the show, though, because the first film was primarily home invasion. This one tried to do the same. Well, it actually does the same thing, but only in for like about half of the film, and then the other
Right.
half is just, oh, I'm gonna save this girl, and well, the revenge aspect of what you'd expect from films like that. That's what it goes for.
Right.
But I don't know. It just kind of come out of it like, but all right. So if we're not going to do a, I understand you don't want to do a repeat of the first film, okay. So what? Why we do it then? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so I was saying, like, okay, like you really wanted to take this character in that direction. All right, fine. So why we just repeated the whole break it into your house thing? You know what I mean? And I for me, how I see it, the point is just it was just to get audiences, just to get people intrigued by this again. Because yeah, all through the trailer, you think that the entire show is going to take place in his house. Nope, not really. It's
Okay.
just half of the show takes place there, right? And then
Which
it
is the
goes
big sell I find,
exactly
right?
right, right,
Yeah.
right. It's
Yeah.
a big sell, but then it goes this other direction now. And you think, well, okay, why couldn't that be the sell of the show?
Right.
So
Right.
it's just this kind of weird thing that they do there, right? But to be fair, I mean, Stephen Lang still shines as Norman, right? As a blind man. He does come off as a tortured anti-hero, with the whole
Yeah,
go,
kind
get
of.
away, with all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, going through pain and, kind of holding it to himself, like he's the type of person who wouldn't talk much, and even like when, Phoenix sees him go through a lot of hurt, it's just like he would just kind of suck it up there, just move on. So he's that type of guy, right? Um, Actually, as I said before, well, Madeline Grace, who plays Phoenix, I thought that she was great as well to play the daughter as well, right? They do give her a couple of like cringy kind of corny bars. Well, I mean, like these generic lines and whatnot,
Yeah.
but
Right.
it's kind of party territory. But if I have another gripe with the show though, is that yeah, this show is just like the first one. That dialogue is not the strongest aspect of the show at all, but
Right. Right.
it
Right.
is basic 80s or sorry 70s or 80s inspired schlockiness trend. So yeah, that dialogue is very dry and very yeah, we need to do this, we need to do that, go over there and all that kind of stuff. It's it's
Yeah.
it's
Which is
very
unfortunate.
yeah. Yeah. And like you could say, well, it's a type of show, that's what it is, but it's like in 2021, Jen, so come on, like these
Yeah.
lines, Jen, oof,
Still doing
you know?
this. Yeah.
Yeah. They do have a twist of sorts involving the girl, and it makes sense in terms of answering the question as to where she come from, though.
Right.
But it's not as interesting as all that though, because unfortunately, without spoiling anything, it still tries to frame this character here, the blind man, as a hero, right? Like
Yeah.
like the show
Make a
really going
mistake.
out the way to have you sympathize with him, you know what I mean? So
Right.
when that twist happens, it's just like wow, like how this guy feeling about this though? It's just like, well, he just gonna find a way to go and find these people and kill them, you know what I mean? So that's what it is. And speaking about kill, right? The villains by
Okay. So quick defense
Sally.
before we continue. The kills in it. At least the action good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right,
They're
okay. Well,
decent. They're
I
decent.
could live with that. Right. Okay.
You school them a little bit. You go, oh, you know what I mean? Never
Right.
so often,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
It's gruesome, but not overly gruesome, right?
Right.
They always make a conscious effort to kind of dial it back a bit. I guess it's because we have this young actress in the film. It's a baby, she don't want her parents to watch it at school when when they see characters get killed in gruesome ways or whatever. I don't know, right? But it's bloody and it's violent, but not as bloody and violent as you expect it to be, right? But yeah, I mean, they got some sweet kills as well too. Some of them are really over the top. Like they really do paint this guy to be like Sticker Daredevil, where this guy almost has
Yeah.
superhuman powers. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
powers of deduction, basically. Or sorry, just of perception, even though he's blind. You know what I mean? Basically, there's one moment with him just lying down in like in a pool of water, basically, indoors, and how he's able to tell that there are X amount of people coming at him is so ridiculous. And
Yeah.
it looks kind of cooler because
Right.
when you see it,
I
it's
show
just
it's
like,
I
dude,
show
how
it's up I show it's up
you know?
I show it's up like he count the amount of splashes or like he feel the amount of ripples or some bullshit like that, right?
Oh well, here's the thing. It was only one ripple.
Wow,
It was
Roger.
one ripple. He get up and he just liquid like a group of people, Dre. Like you had to see it for yourself, Dre.
Right.
But yeah, the goons themselves, right? Again, like how you said before about, they have to be evil, like really
Right.
evil.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
problem.
it's that.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, like at foot, like they come off very scummy, like it's almost like child predatory at times, though. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. They had to
Yeah,
overdo it.
which is kind of uncomfortable. Well, sorry, not
Yeah.
kind of. It is
It
uncomfortable.
is uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, but how they just really kind of show like, wow, like we just really don't care. We just get the girl. We don't care what it takes. Just get the girl. We know that kind of stuff. There, even right now to when she actually confronts one of them is just on some child predator shit though, which is just like,
No,
ugh.
no. They really do it this way.
Whoa, like dial it back a little bit there. Dial it
Yeah,
back.
man.
But but the twist tries to justify why the character does what he does or what it was all leading up to, but
Right.
still is like, yeah, this. I really get some child predator vibes from this. This is not cool at all, right? And where the story ends, though, like I get what they're going for, but still, again, it's just once again trying to have us sympathize with this character, and I don't know, it's just kind of hard to do see what the twist was in the first film. You know what I mean?
Right.
But in closing, the best way I could sum this show up is if you are a fan of the character of the blind man and you just kind of want to see him again in a movie, you will enjoy it for what it is, right? But unfortunately, though, this kind of just feels like a sequel that just shouldn't be. Like the first one was just like a good one-off thing, but I understand. You know what I mean? Given the genre of horror, oh, you have this cool character. Let's see what we can do again with this character, right? But here's the kind of irony behind it, right? Even though you had some gruesome deaths and whatnot in the first film, right? The first film technically was not a horror either.
You're right.
Like it
I
have
get that.
horrific stuff
Yeah, it
in it,
wasn't.
but
Yeah.
it's not a horror film. It's more of a thriller. It's more of a thriller film with a little bit of action, right? This one really goes for more action than the first one, in my opinion. But still, it's not really so much a horror film. Though. The horror comes in the kills and the tension that builds before these kills, right? So, like, I understand from a marketing perspective. Oh well, if you enjoyed Don't Breathe, then see part two, right? It'll be kind of like a quiet place. But probably the quiet place now, the advantage they have is that it did stop at a cliffhanger, right? And now you
Right.
have part two, literally part two, followed up right where the first film stopped. Here's just, oh well, remember that cool character for the first film? Yeah, let me see what happened to him 8 years later. Let me just try to build a story around him. Like, like we can't do that thing with him again. So let me at least try to, build his character a little bit more. But just like the first film, unfortunately, it's not really good with character development at all. I can argue, well, it's the nature of the genre or the type of film. You don't need that. But see that you want to make this character your lead, and you kind of have to do that. You kind of have to give her more than, oh well, years passed and he kind of saw the error of his ways somewhat through taking care of this girl. You know what I mean? Like it has to be a lot deeper than that, man. It can't
Yeah.
be that bare bones, right? And because of that, though, everything just kind of falls apart. You know what I mean? You just kind of see things play out, but you're just like, well, why though? Like, like just the purpose behind everything. Like what's the point of all this, right? So again, if you're a fan of the character, you'll enjoy it too. But if you're just looking for like a sequel that needs to happen in terms of Don't Breed, yeah, this is not it. And before I get to read it, though, they kind of hint at the possibility of a sequel again, like a trequel, basically. I don't see it coming at all, but knowing the people behind the scenes, doing screen gems and all that, they will find a way. They will find a way to milk this thing out, though. But this again, they just really need to find something else for this character to do. He can't just be the like all of a sudden he's anti-hero to
Yeah.
bad
That would
guy
shouldn't.
to
Yeah.
anti-hero to somewhat of a vigilante. It's like y'all don't really know what to do with him, Jed. And the only thing is, well, he's blind and he's a badass. So, but come on, like you really should have taken this thing true, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
rated wise, strong 2.5 to like 3, man. See it if you want to. If like again, if you love the character, check it out. Check it out. You might like it, man. But as far as a follow up to Don't Breed, like a follow up that we needed, yeah, this was one that we did not need at all. The first film should have just stayed the way it is. You know what I mean? Things happen and ends. But I know that the first film ended with a cliff. Sorry, ended with with a little sequel beaten. There, but still, you're gonna think about the sequel a lot more, Dred. I mean, I understand. Right? You wanna take the character in another direction, but again, you see what happened in the first film. That was really hard to do. I personally, I think
yeah.
you should have just left things as is and just moved on.
So yeah. So
Right. And last but not least, stick with sequels one more time. Let's talk about Mortal Kombat Legends Battle
sure.
of the Realms, right? So, Ricardo, if you don't mind, that's why you do the synopsis. But before we start, there's a quick run through with the previous film,
Oof.
Scorpion's Revenge.
Right.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Keep with it was released last year. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This was one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies of 2020.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it just stuck to not just the ultraviolet nature of the game, of the game, you know, I mean, from 19 along, but the new games themselves, you know, the NetherRealm Studios games, you know, I mean, in terms of how fast and frenetic and how brutal the fighting was, that even right down to incorporating, you know, X-ray shots of
Mhm.
bones being broken and you know stuff like that. It really worked though. As someone who isn't versed in all things Mortal Kombat, do I talk about the games, I dog how they just told Scorpion's story and
Yeah.
how they somehow made it relate to, you know, seeing the actual Mortal Kombat tournament play out again, similar to how it was in the 95 movie, live action movie, but just in a more violent, bloody way, right? And, you know, I remember seeing for that review how I was hoping with the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie, which came out, you know, earlier this year and was terrible. Yeah, you know, this really raised the bar, and I was hoping that at least, you know, the new movie would have, you know, tried to capitalize on that, right? But it kind of didn't, right? So, you know, if you see my review, if you listen to my review of it, you'll understand, right? But yeah, this was a bold step for Warner Animation, really embracing R-rated animation, animated features. And I mean, what better way to kind of go into it even further than with Mortal Kombat, right? So, I mean, when I heard, you know, Battle Rebels was coming, I was like, all right, word, we getting a sequel. All right,
Yeah.
cool. So, I wasn't like overly excited, but I was like, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the first one, so what could go wrong with this one here? But yeah,
Right.
Ricardo, what were your thoughts on Scorpion's Revenge, and then you can jump into
Right. So
Battle.
yeah, I dug the hell out of that. You know, Scorpion is arguably the most popular character in the franchise. So it's understandable why you would want to do like if you're doing any kind of reboot or rehaul or any new takes on the material. Yeah, it's a generally good idea on focusing on him. That's like actually intelligent. It's a very smart choice in my opinion. And as a film and story, yeah, it's like yeah, Scorpion's backstory is pretty damn cool. Do it. Go ahead. I don't have a problem with that at all, to be honest. And they did that. We got that. I thought it was pretty good, and we got a solid, just a solid Mortal Kombat film because they did the thing. They did the simplest thing that you have to do with Mortal Kombat. Here's the simplest thing: make it a Mortal Kombat movie, as in a tournament. That is one of the simplest things. Don't try to do this half-assy kind of nonsense where you had to tell this adventure and no, none of that, right? That was a big mistake that the 2021 film did. Um, and I thought it was pretty decent for what it was. And well, this new show does that. It basically leads into a second tournament. They more cater to the newer games, which I really appreciated and liked a lot. Um, it just really really well played out and actually funny and well done. They do the thing that it just makes it just again I can't help but think like why didn't the new film just do this, which is
I know, right?
yeah, yeah, which is caters to Johnny Cage. Because instead of this cold character, if they just had that guy as Johnny Cage, right, and they just recast Johnny Cage as a half agent kind of person instead, I would have been perfectly fine with that, right? Make him funny, make it work, and don't really have a big complaint about this nonsense about destiny and this kind of stuff. It's like yeah, Mortal Kombat is about destiny, kind of, but it's more like a kind of working parody about destiny. That is why Mortal Kombat is like really funny and clever in its own working way. And I in this one I dug it. It does a bit much. That's the only big complaint I have about this one. It's a bit much in terms of what it does. It does a bit too much. It kind of makes it's kind of two or three films all in one if you think about it. But it lines up reasonably well. And then the main conceit again, they gave us a tournament and they gave us fights. Right, a lot of fights was brutal. Characters who I didn't think would have died, they kill off some good characters. Like, oh, they killed this character from the game. Oh, they killed that character. Oh shit, that is what they do, and it's pretty awesome. And I dug the story for what it was. Yeah, and that is basically the we could talk about the plot and the premise for what it is, but they make it work.
Yeah, totally agree, totally agree. I agree with you there. It does try to do a lot. I mean, for one thing, we do follow up on the further adventures of Scorpion, right? And his rivalry with that somewhat Sub-Zero because he kills the OG Sub-Zero, the first film,
Right.
but his brother, right? Who comes back. Um, and oh well, one thing I actually do like about the show here, as we mentioned, live action films, this was a much better Mortal Kombat Annihilation than Mortal Kombat Annihilation. It does
Right.
the same thing
That's what
where
yeah, they
it
did the
follows up
same thing.
on new characters
No,
and raises the stakes a
that's what
lot
right.
more now.
No, you're completely right. That was also clever about this. They made it work in that sense now. You could tell the creators of this decided to say, okay, let us do Mortal Kombat Online. Much like how the first one fixes the first film, fixes. They do the same thing. They say, hey, let us take Mortal Kombat Annihilation and fix the script. That's all it is. And we did. We just got a solid animated movie and a solid story. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it did, man. And I
Well,
actually love that, man. Even right down to incorporating Cyrax and Sector, right? Because if you remember for the the dreaded Mortal Kombat Annihilation, we had Cyrax, right?
yeah.
But we did have Sector in this case, right? And the idea of bringing them into the story was just simple and to the point. That's what I always love about these films here. It's just simple, it's to the point. These shows know the audience already. We like, so you don't have to be all overly critical about, like, well, logically that doesn't make any sense. No, it's based off a video game, genius. So just roll with it, please. And
Yeah.
the movie done short as is, so just roll with it, please, and
Yeah.
just try to have fun, right? And that's what they go for, and that's what they stick with, right? But yeah, I do agree with though they really do try to do a lot. 'Cause for one thing, you have the Scorpion Sub-Zero stuff, you have the tournament itself, and well,
Yeah.
Reading, wanting to
Right.
be a part of it, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And then have
I
the
like what
deal
it
with Shao Kahn
I like what
himself.
they did with that. Again, that was a big
Me
like
too.
that was an Annihilation, the same story in Annihilation where Raiden becomes mortal. Here's why. In
Yeah,
this,
and the
they don't
reason
have him.
why in this movie made so much sense, Shred.
Yeah,
Made so
yeah.
much sense, and it's so simple to you. Like, wow, like it. You know what I mean? Again, you know what I mean? If you stop and think about it, well, wow, what if, what if, what if? But no, in this case, like, no, well, this is just what we got to do. You know what I mean?
See, you know,
Just to
as I say,
get things done. That's all I'll say.
yeah, no, as I say, take notes, kids. This is how you fix a script. Because that's what it felt like. It just felt like our fixing movies or one of them subreddits just decide, look, we're gonna write down a new Mortal Kombat script, fix it, and they get the best of the lot, and that's what they went with. It's just
Yeah,
simple ideas, simple solutions to problems. Usually with when you fix something, you don't rehaul, right? Very rehalling is generally a kind of not bad faith, but just generally bad form. Like you shouldn't rehaul a story. Like yeah, just take what's there and then build from it.
mm,
And I think a lot of people just I just appreciated that they just did that. And here's a big factor rule of thumb. So a lot of shows and movies nowadays. Look, I like movies, but I don't like movies all that much where I could sit down and keep attention the entire time. Even movies I like, I will get up and think, go eat something or whatever it is. Not with this, it kept my attention almost the entire time. I was like, that's like actually an interesting mark. I found myself not wanting to get up from the couch. I'm like, oh, that's actually wow, look at that. They did something there. Like that is interesting. I like,
yeah,
oh, they learn to keep the pace right. Like even though I have
yeah,
issues with somebody how it paces out in terms of the story building, story building. Sorry, I didn't have a problem with it in that sense. I was like, oh, that's actually weird. And it's like, okay, that means that they know how to keep people's attention because the action is good. That's like a big
exactly.
factor. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll talk about the action a bit, right? Yeah, there's also a subplot involving Sub Zero's brother wanted to
Right.
seek vengeance. You know what I mean, on Scorpion. There was one that was starting basically on Liu Kang, and from the beginning. I thought we
Yeah.
could have gotten a lot more with that though, because that just kind of opens up a really interesting
Yeah.
idea, basically with how Raiden discovers him for the first time. That's all we'll see. But
Yeah.
I felt that they didn't really do much of that. They just kind of mentioned it after a very integral moment in the film. We're not going to see what it is, right? But I felt we could have explored their relationship a lot more as to, why Liu Kang is the chosen one, right? And why
Yeah.
Shao Kahn's forces would have gone out of their way to have him killed so far back in the story. That's all we'll say as well, right?
Yeah.
Um, Even Johnny Cage gets a moment him trying again with Sonya, and I love Joe McHale as Johnny Cage, just
Yeah. He
perfect
pretty good.
voice
Yeah.
casting right here. I just love his back and forth with Sonya Blade, who again is voiced by Jennifer Carpenter, who you remember from Dexter, right? I didn't expect to see Stryker in this, and
That is
at
what catch me,
first I
Jared.
was like,
You know the
all right,
thing? You
why
know the thing?
he in this? But
No, the only
a
thing,
little bit, I was like, all right, well, okay, bringing in new characters. I mean, you have a bunch more villains now, so might as well bring in a few more heroes, right? So,
right?
okay, it's
No, the
fine,
only
yeah,
thing,
cool.
yeah, the only thing that disappointed me, I wanted a few more characters from Mortal Kombat 3. Like, because okay, so one thing that was noticeably obnoxious about Mortal Kombat Annihilation was the fact that they they name drop characters and then don't do anything with them. Like, I
True.
hated that.
Yeah.
And in this, they say, but I felt they should have done that in this. Like, no, we should have see other characters in a quick fight. Like, we should have see Cabal. We could have see
Yeah. Cabal,
um
yeah, you're right.
right. Well, in this, they cut out him, but they bring in, because they had a character that I liked in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, kind of, which was Nightwolf. We didn't get to see Nightwolf, even though he was
No.
atrociously used.
Oh
I
my
really
God.
wanted to
This is
see.
my animality.
Yeah, no rubbish. Yeah. But I really wanted to see Nightwolf in this, so they can bring in the other character. That's the only thing, a small complaint. Other than that, I really dug this movie. I thought
Yeah.
I really like all the decisions they made.
Right. Let's just touch on the action quickly. It is well again. It is fast. It is frenetic. It is
Yeah,
brutal, violent. To the point of almost being ridiculous. Like almost kind of
yeah,
watches. It's like wow, this is just so absurd and just so silly.
yeah. Well,
But no, no,
that's Mortal
but they're
Kombat.
yeah, but you're right that balance between okay, this is kind of like silly over the top violence, but at the same time it's like, oh no, but at the same time somebody's really being killed in the worst ways, right? As far as the fights, because again we have another tournament, right? There's a moment involving this minor spoiler involving Jax. And like I thought legit that Jax was going to die, but it's like, well,
Right,
no,
right.
he
Me
not
too.
dead. He just,
Yeah,
something happened to him. And I was like, wait, what? Okay, well,
yeah, yeah,
but seeing who he was fighting is like, well, this man's supposed to like kill him, Dread. So, but
yeah,
because after the next fight, he literally kills the person. So I'm like, well, why he
yeah.
just let Jax go? Like, what was the point of that? But anyway,
Right.
so that was a dope moment in my opinion, right? Other than that, the fight scenes were
Yeah.
very well put together.
Yes.
I felt like
Well, yeah.
like it starts off like normal, but then like in the halfway point, that's when shit started hit the fan. Like
Yeah, when
that's
the
when
tournament
characters
starts itself. Yeah,
really get
yeah,
decimated by
yeah,
Shao Kahn by
yeah.
pull off like both Shao Kahn and Shang Tsung Dread pull off two of the most jaw dropping fatalities in this movie. Like I watch, I like, oh my god, this is where we going. This is where we going, especially Shang Tsung. So, oh
You
my
know.
god, like that stuck in my like holy shit, right? Yeah, I like that. I like that the show this well the Warner Brothers went on the way and say, yeah, we know we rated R, we know that. We still
No, they
gonna
know
have a
they
character
know
there
they
like this.
know their
Yep.
audience. Like they totally understand their audience, and that's what make it work. They get their audience. Like, they get, okay, this is what you cater to. The last 3 or 4 games, especially, is quite brilliant at just doing over the top nonsense violence, and that is why it work.
Yeah, exactly. One, I don't want to like spoil all the fights though, but I will say the Liu Kang versus Shang Tsung fight was
Badass.
amazing. That
Yeah,
was
but I
so
love it.
so bad. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, right? And speaking of Liu Kang, I love what they did with this character in the third act, right? The circumstance surrounding it was surprising as well too, but the payoff was worth it though. And I'll say once again, going back to Mortal Kombat Annihilation, there was a very, very, very memorable moment near the end involving, characters finding themselves, as all I'll say. In this one, it made total sense, sure, like how it would happen. And at the moment, though, it is the best version of that
Yeah.
I've seen in anything Mortal Kombat thus far. Even the 2021 movie, sorry, well, the live
No,
action
yeah.
movie
This
couldn't even
this
pull that
puts
off,
yeah,
though.
this puts this that put that 2021 film to shame, Judd. 'Cause again,
I
I don't
know, boy.
I thought it was a huge mistake doing what they
It,
did with that
well,
20.
sorry. Well, it's almost to the point like they probably make this a few months after, like sorry, like right after Mortal Kombat the movie release. They
Yeah,
probably just make this movie like right afterwards. So they probably
yeah,
spent 3-4 months putting this together
yeah.
just because of how bad the that live action film
Yeah,
was.
they just had to fix it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, what they do there in the third act was great as well. And I couldn't help but, like it really did remind me of how anime inspired Mortal Kombat is. Like
Yeah,
especially when you reach to that point. It's like, yeah, this is so straight up like apocalyptic anime shit though, but it worked given what the who the villain is and what the hero has to do there. It totally worked. The little stinger that they have at the very sorry, at the end before the end credits though, kind of had me thinking. But again, it's Mortal Kombat is possible, but still,
Yeah,
it kind of had me thinking. That's all I say. That scene, there was a bad thing, but just like, yeah, but how though? Like how? Or are they really gonna do this? Right? Are we really
right,
gonna
right,
get a
right.
sequel of that? Right? But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, but other than that though, this is yet another fantastic outing in terms of the animated Mortal Kombat universe from this new animated Mortal Kombat universe here. Um, and it really the way how it's set up though, you could really I don't know, I could just picture a series being made out of this, like like
Yeah,
maybe a direct to video series, right? Like one season focus on like at least two characters each or whatever, and yeah, just keep the violence the way it is, keep the action as fast as it is, the animation keep it the way it is as well too, so nothing too spectacular there, but it keeps it kind of simple, and it has its own kind of distinctness to it, you know what I mean? And yeah, keep them going, man. I'm not expecting like a DC animated universe level type of franchise with this, but I think we could get a little bit more out of this, man. I mean, I don't think this is the end, nor should it be, right? So rated wise, decent or strong four, man. This is
nice. Yeah,
gonna be another sorry, I was gonna say fan favorite, another favorite guilty pleasure of mine for the year for sure. Just mainly because, like I said, it knows its audience, and it doesn't hold off, it doesn't hold back at all, Jed. It's like we know the fans, we know what y'all come for. We gotta give y'all this for X amount of minutes, right? No need to critique this at all. You get to the goods, right? You get to the goods and more. And just the mere fact that this was a better Mortal Kombat Annihilation, that Mortal Kombat Annihilation
yeah.
is just an achievement in my opinion, Jed. So props to the team behind the scenes for just knowing how to make better Mortal Kombat movies than the people who handling these live action films for like what years, right? So yeah,
I
can't wait for
listen.
the next one if we do get a next
Yeah,
one.
it like, just seeing this film just makes the live action film even more baffling in retrospect. Like I kind of get why you might want to make some interesting choices and thing, but like now, well, looking at this is like no, yeah, they should do this instead. This is the way to go. It's kind of embarrassing to be honest. Whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Love this movie. Didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. A lot of fun, funny. It's actually again kept my attention. Funny, well done, and action. That's the main trick to this bullshit. Rating, I want to say about an 8 out of 10 as well. I'll give it to that. I dug it for what it was. It knew what wanted to be, and it knew what it was. Yeah, I dug the hell out of this. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
Nice, nice, nice.